Hi and welcome back to my channel and to this new drawing lesson of our Advent calendar. These are 25 drawing lessons before Christmas. I draw for you different fun Christmas themes, some landscapes and some fun animals too. Today we will draw something special. It's a cup of hot chocolate and whipped cream. We will use some special colors like mint and pink. There are some marshmallows on it, so this is a fun tutorial and I hope you like it. If you are interested in more drawing lessons, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you would like to join the waitlist of Animal Art Club, my membership, here above you find the link. And you find also material that I use below in the description. And now let's dive in. In this tutorial, let's draw a cup with hot chocolate and whipped cream and some Christmas decorations around and some marshmallows. So let's sketch in here a cup or a mug. Let's sketch it in here. I sketch it in with very little pressure. So you can of course create your own. And let's do that freehand. Let's train the eyes and sketch in a mark here. Make a bow downwards a bit, that we see a bit the inner side of that mark. And then let's add a crown of the whipped cream on top here. Like ice cream, this white whipped milk cream. Sketch that in. We have here a bit of an upper edge on our mark, and then let's add a bit of decoration. Let's add here some cinnamon. Here let's add a bit of cinnamon that is put together. Sketch in that. So this looks like a snail. Snail. So, and put a bit of a ribbon around. Just sketch it in. Let's add then also, I always like to add these fir branches, evergreen branches a little bit. Some holy berries with some stems. And let's also add here a bit of a cinnamon. And then here another branch of the fir. Let's also add here a bit of a pine cone. This is a little bit more tricky with all these leaves, all these shells. Draw here one. Here another one and another one. Then let's do here another row. So. And let's add here a bit of a decoration. Let's add some little marshmallow squares. Here is the lower part of the mug. Then I add here one. And here another one in front of the cone. Maybe here also one. Okay, and maybe let's here make that a little bit rounder. So maybe let's add here so a row of little flowers or stars. So little flowers I think are nice. We will draw them then more in detailed. Just sketch them in. We need their shadow. Okay, yes, and so this is enough for the sketch. I would say let's start in that case with a nice background behind. I would like to bring in some turquoise colors here. So turquoise and a bit pink or so orange brown. I take here the turquoise, let's say, what color can I use? I don't have directly a really beautiful turquoise soft pastel stick, so I go in with the mint. The mint here from the Caputellos. Plot in a little bit mint as the background. The reason for drawing the background here first is just that we then can focus on the whipped cream here and on the mug, and we have a background right way around. It's then easier. It's always up to you how you would draw it. Normally when I'm drawing in animals, I do the animals always first because I love to bring the animals to life, but when I just draw these subjects, it can be really an advantage to just start with the background first and then do the subject, so it does not matter. And sometimes it is easier when you have here the color for the background right away in place. So I plot in here the mint green from the Caputellos in around. I am working here on the anthracite paper, so in that case we need really opaque colors, work more with the soft pastel sticks and softer pastel pencils. So sometimes it can be really an advantage to use here softer pastel pencils to create opaque backgrounds. So the softer pastel pencils or sticks. I use a bit of a Rembrandt, so a warmer Rembrandt orange too here in combination, and bring these colors then also in on the mug. So let's make it a bit so colorful. And yes, you can use your fantasy here. You can also use pinks, violets, reds, whatever color you would like to use. Add a bit of a lighter pinky color here too, a bit of a flesh color. Plot that in here above a little bit more. And also on the other side here. I use my left hand, that you see that better on the video. Plot in a little bit of the soft pastel sticks here. Let's also use a bit of a bit more darker turquoise, or I go in with the pencils. Add a bit of the pit pastel pencils around the mark here. Plot in here a bit of a darker turquoise, it's the cobalt green. And then I use these blending tools, the soft blending tools, for blending the background colors here a bit. Here around the mark. So bring the turquoise and these orange skin colors here also towards our mark and blend them around. Create a bit of a blurry background here. Also blend it so downwards and here in the middle. I move the soft blending tool in circles. You can also use cotton swabs or cosmetic brushes for that. Let's do another round. Let's do another round with mint. So I plot in a little bit another layer with the mint just to create a more opaque base layer here. Background, blurry background with a bit more turquoise color here. Here around the mark, here above, just that we cover. Here the background paper nicely. You can work on whatever paper you like. I just wanted to use the anthracite here to use it. Maybe sometimes it's also an advantage when the dark is shining through and you go over with the lighter colors. I take again here once more the soft pastel tools and soft pastel sticks and plot them in a bit and blend over either with the finger or a bit with the blending tools gently. Maybe add also a lighter flesh color once more. So play a bit with the colors. And also a bit, let's say a bit of a darker green in the edges. A bit dark green here, blend it with the soft pastel tools. I also go over a little bit with ivory. Bring in here, so a little bit like clouds, some little details into that background, or also move the edge of the pastel stick so over the background a bit and add some stains or little clouds with the ivory. Also here a bit so downwards. Maybe do that also with a bit of a darker turquoise color, or I plot in here below near the mark a little bit of a darker turquoise coloring and just swipe over, move over a little bit with such a helio turquoise and add here and there some stains, a bit of a darker turquoise color. Also the lower part here between can be a bit darker, I would say. And here towards the ground here, towards the table, can be darker. We can also use a cotton swab or a paper stamp for blending, or use the soft tools, or go in with a cotton swab. It's also nice to blend it with the cotton swab carefully. Swipe over a bit. Okay. Here, blend it really towards that little cone. Okay, and then let's start with the mark. I would say let's start above with the whipped cream. Add here a nice point. And then with a very brilliant white here, these creamy round areas. Make here a bow and below a bow, and maybe move the white here below so a little bit more in circles. We can also go in with ivory here, or use an ivory pastel stick and add a bit ivory on the lower parts of these round patterns here in the cream. Add a bit ivory. We can also go in with the soft pastel stick to make that really brilliant white. You know, the sticks always are more opaque and cover here the gray better of my paper. And bring in a little bit of, let's say, of ochre between. Take an ochre pastel pencil, a raw amber or a brown ochre, something like that. And plot that in here between the white. You can bring in here then different colors, but we need a bit of dark here between the highlights. And then blend a bit over with the paper stamp. Mix the white and the ivory. Blend also the lower part here. Go over the ochre. Okay. We can also bring in some pinks, flesh colors, so that we say I have here a soft pastel stick that's a bit caput mortuum. Also from the Rembrandt, plot that in a bit here on the lower part and on the right part. Bring in here a bit pink, maybe also here on top a bit, or over the ochres, more on the shadow side on the right. Blend a bit over it with the paper stamp. Let's also bring in a little bit the mint color from the background. Here in the shadow parts, and a little bit of dark blue that we add here, a little bit blue instead of gray in the shadows. Yes, maybe also here below a little bit blue where then the mark begins. Ooh, yes, we can also bring in again a bit of ochre color here, raw amber. Or take an ivory pastel pencil and just swipe over and color the cream a little bit, so yellowish. Give it a bit of yellowish touch. Yes. Okay, then draw this cinnamon. Part here a bit with the brown. And let's take a bit of an orange brown color here on top, so an ochre. Ochre from the Capotellos, and go in a bit with an orange brown here too. So mix a bit dark brown, orange brown, orange itself, and then black for shadow here near our cream. Have to sharpen it too, so always sharpen your pastel pencils for details. Add here a bit of the black near the cream. Add here a bit shadow on the lower side. Go in also with an ochre for some highlights here. And go over with white too on the upper side that we bring in here. A bit of highlights, some white strokes downwards. Always also go over your cream with white and brighten up here the cream a bit with some white. And if the Capotello is not showing up, go in with a stick and add brilliant, so white stains on top. Okay. Then let's draw the mark. So let's come. Okay, one thing I forgot. Let's add a bit. So with an orange, brown, and red, let's add a bit of caramel powder or cinnamon powder. I think that's cinnamon on top of our cream, just with so little dots. Add some red dots here on top, and an orange brown little dots. So create a bit of a cinnamon powder that we have placed on top here of that cream. Make it here also a bit orangey, and just add some little dots on top here. Give a bit cinnamon here on the cream, on top of the hot chocolate. Okay. Then let's take a brown and add here a bit brown below. Let's draw the mark. Bring in here a bit brown. And below turquoise. I want to make it here, so a bit turquoise around the flowers we have here then on top. Plot in here turquoise. We have here so little dots in the middle around the flowers here. Plot in a little bit of the turquoise color here. And below an orange brown ochre mix. Let's take here so a red orange brown and plot that in starting from below a little bit upwards in strokes. Create so a bit stripy structure. Some of these strokes are a bit longer, some are shorter. And bring in a bit of ivory between, or a lighter yellow. that we add here a bit ivory between. Also so lines upwards and downwards. Give that mark a little bit of a structure, and then blend this first base layer. Blend over the red here below. Blend it here also, so inside we also have to put in color inside the ribbon. Blend here a bit over these flowers. We will draw them then on top again with a white. Blend this here. Then let's go in also with a dark brown, a more dark brown here below. That we add here some dark brown strokes upwards, or middle brown little lines upwards. Also here it is darker again on the right, so let's plot in here a bit black. Add a shadow, a black shadow on the right. Darken down the right part. Add also shadow inside of that ribbon. And black below here. And move the black a bit upwards, downwards here, and plot it in a bit. So bring in a bit black, the same is here above. We need here a bit more shadow on the right here. Bringing in the black. Use a paper stamp then also for blending the black a bit. Swipe over upwards and downwards. We can also use really a dark brown here below a bit. That's really a bit darker. And even darken also down here the left side. And add some brown lines upwards. Finer brown lines. Work a bit with so fine, thin strokes here. We can also add brown here above. And add brown a bit here on that upper edge of our mark. And bring in a bit brown here, so downwards. We can go over the upper part with the mint a little bit and add some mint strokes. I will add the flowers then on top. Just make sure that you don't add too much colors, that we can overdraw it with the flowers. Brighten up the mark here above a little bit with the turquoise. Let's take then a lighter yellow. Plot in a little bit of lighter yellow here in the middle. Or even a cream. So move the lighter yellow upwards and downwards very, very gently. And try to give that mark so a little bit of an old look. You can create that really well with the pastel. So move the white, the yellow upwards and downwards here, and let some strokes overlap. You can blend this a little bit with the finger. and go also in with an ivory. So add ivory lines, bring in some lighter color here too, or with an orange brown, so with an orange brown ochre, also with a little pressure. So play a bit with the colors you have here. Add here a bit also of orange brown in the shadow area on the right. Okay, let's add here below also a bit of the orange brown, and also here above I add a bit of the orange brown, so some little strokes, and here too, make it here a bit brighter. Maybe a bit with more orange here too, a bit more a reddish orange brown. And then also add black. Add here a black shadow. Here below it's then always also black at the bottom. We also add a bit black here in the inner side. Darken the background here down a bit. You can go over with the paper stamp then. Just blend here over a bit over the background and blend over here over the orange, brown and the black. We can add with the white a brilliant highlight here on top. Brighten it up here a bit. Okay, you can also use the white for stretching in here some white lines. Yes, refine that mark a bit. Move that upwards and downwards here, and maybe add here again a little bit of red above, or a bit of a darker red brown here. The Caputellos have all beautiful colors of reds in there. Then draw these little flowers that we have on the mark. Let's draw them with the white. So start here and draw with the white these little petals. Here another one. Here another one. And a little dot in the middle. We also have a little dot here in the middle. Let's draw this one. Here I press a little bit more that the white is really so standing up. Let's make that a little bit larger. Here we have again a dot, and here two, and here a flower. You can also correct the shape when you add a bit shadow around it. Okay, then take a sharp black and add a bit shadow around it to let it really pop and stand out a bit. So I take the black and draw around these little middle circle, and add then, so make it darker between the flowers. Swipe around, draw around the petals, with the black here. We can even darken it really down on the right. Add shadow below them. Here, add shadow around. Draw around them, but blend the black a little bit into the surrounded area so that not only you frame them around with the black. Here where we have these little dots, I add black below. Here a little. Bringing black below them. Okay. Bring in here a bit black around them. Maybe go over then with the mint a bit and add a bit mint below, so mint stripes downwards, or with a bit of a darker helio turquoise that we go in and add also from above some stripes downwards. Blend over the black between the flowers a bit, that they are softer, not too black. Just go here so over with the helio turquoise and add also a bit of turquoise downwards. Okay, let's also go in with an ochre pencil and add a bit of orange brown on our little flowers. Here I take a pit because they are harder for fine details. A pit from Stabilo, burnt ochre, and add always so below or in the middle or on the right a little bit of so an ochre stain to create a bit of a 3D effect with that orange brown. Also here on the right side or on the lower side, add here a bit of the ochre color. Okay, maybe also use the burnt ochre, sketching in some ochre strokes here again. Add again some details. So you can use the pencil also for blending or adding also here above a little bit of the orange brown. Okay. Let's also take then a sharp white and let the whipped cream a little bit go over the edge of our mark, so that we let it here so a little bit so go downwards. That looks also nice, so let it here go a little bit downwards on the outside. We add some little dots too here around the edge. Maybe here. Draw it a little bit like snow. I like that. To add here so a little bit some dots on top. Okay. Okay, maybe go over the little flowers once more with some highlights here and there, or make the tips sharper. Stretch over the mark here with the white and brighten up the part here a bit. Near the highlight. Yes, nice. Then let's draw here below the next part. Let's draw this pine cone. I would say start with the shadow. Here in the middle, always below these little scales. Always below them, add a bit black. Where they are coming out and below. That we bring in here always so shadow in below them, around them. And then take a red brown and fill them out with a red brown pigment. Here we have these smaller ones in the middle. Bring in here a red brown. Take then a paper stamp and blend over them. Blend the black together with the red brown. Then we have to add highlights that we see the edges better and then refine this little cone. So I sharpen ivory and go in with ivory a bit. For example, here we have these little ones in the middle. Let's add here a bit highlights around them. Then we have here one. And here one. Brighten up here the edges. We have here one behind and here another one behind. Make the front edges a little bit bright and then use little pressure for the edges here that are going here more inside of the cone. Here is also one, and here bringing in here some highlights on the left. Yes, and then go in once more with the black here below the little scales, or in the inner side, that we darken it down here more. Here where they are coming out, make it darker. Also those here near the mark can be darker. Okay, then let's also, so I add also here behind a little bit shadow behind that little cone. And I wanted also to draw a pine branch here, an evergreen branch with brown the stem, and then take a dark green and add so little needles upwards and downwards here. Bring in here also the dark green also around and behind the pine cone, a little bit of the pine green. Plot that in also a little bit so below the cone, the green. We can also bring that in here a bit on the right. Then go over here with a bit of a middle green. And with some lighter colors too, so that we take a mint and add some mint strokes here on that. Also with the black, go in a bit with the black and add a little bit shadow. especially behind our cone, make it darker. And then go over with white too and add some white strokes here. Brighten it up a bit. Maybe sometimes when we have too much pigment on the paper, then the sticks are working better for these white highlights here. Push the pigment into the paper. Then let's draw these little marshmallows here below. I draw them here with mint. And then with the white on the side here. So little marshmallow pieces. And add a little bit of mint on top, mix it with the white. We could use here also a paper stamp for blending. Blend the white together with the mint. And go in with a dark green below. Add a bit shadow below and maybe also add a bit shadow on these little marshmallow parts here with the dark green. And go in with the white and brighten up here the edges. The same let's do with that one. Add a bit of white on top. And a bit mint here on the front side. And also so a bit dark green near the other one. So I sharpen the dark green, a pine green. Just add here a bit shadow where the other marshmallow is in front. Add here a bit green. And also below we need the shadow. This we can also add with a black. Add here shadow below and also behind. Add here a bit shadow behind that marshmallow. And use a paper stamp for blending. Go also in with the white again. Brighten up this front part and the upper part a bit. Okay, then let's make a pink one. I take here a pink Caputhello and also add here, let that overlap. It's in front of the cone. I have forgotten before about that little marshmallow, but we can just overdraw it and mix the pink with white then and brighten up the upper part with the white, make it a little bit lighter here and also the side. Brighten that up. Okay. Okay, then let's also plot in a little bit black below our mark. And we have here that cinnamon. Bring in here also the black below the cinnamon. We need here shadow below. We need shadow also below the cone. And here a little bit between the cone and the mark. Add here shadow below, and we have here another little marshmallow. Plot in here shadow below the cinnamon. I want here to make another branch, pine branch, evergreen branch, and plot in here a little bit more black on the right as shadow. Here I want to have another pine. Maybe blend over that with the paper stamp a bit. So over the black, blend it a bit upwards. Here we have the cinnamon. Okay. I add a bit of brown. Here below that we see the mug a little bit, the lower part of the mug a little bit more. Okay, and then take a darker brown for the cinnamon, or better the black, for these shadow parts in the cinnamon here inside, or the middle line here. Here inside the snake, here inside of the snail. It's also a bit of a snake, but I mean the snail. Here a bit shadow between the second one, and also here on the lower side add a bit shadow, and then take our orange browns. So make it here a bit brighter. Bring in here a bit cinnamon. Make it also a little bit more orangey, so add a bit red, brown and orange here on top. And on the lower part here of that one, mix in both colors. And also a little bit more orange, I would say, on top here. Make them a little bit more brilliant. Okay, let's then draw this marshmallow here with a white. Plot in here white on the front part. And make it also a bit so three-dimensional. Make sure that you have here so parallel lines, and also these two are parallel. These are a little bit going downwards, and these are again parallel. And then add a bit, let's say, gray here on the right side, and a little bit gray on top, but mix it with white. Brighten it up, that it is not too dark. Here it can be brilliant white. I sharpen my pencil. The caputellos are so soft, you really have to sharpen them very often. You can also work with any brand you have. For finer details, I prefer the pits from Faber-Castell, and for these more painterly, or if you would like to be faster or create some more opaque areas, the Caputellos also work really well. I take a little bit of pink and plot that in here in the shadow area, a very transparent layer of pink, and brighten it up again with the white. So you can mix a very, very light pink here with the pencils. Okay, maybe we make it a bit round. These marshmallows are have not so hard corners. Round the corners a little bit. Also here where we have those. Okay, maybe make it also a little bit, so a bow a little bit downwards here on the lower side. You can make the sides a bit rounder to create that a little bit more round look. Okay, then take a red and plot in here some little berries. Add a little bit of red, and then also go in with a darker violet red for some shadows on the right or below, and then take the black here and add so teeny tiny little black dots on the berries. And then let's also add a bit highlight with a white. So I take then the white again and bring in a bit so highlights on top, or add little dots, a little bit like snow. I like that in that Christmas drawing here, to create a little bit of snow or these little dots as highlights on top. Okay, then here is something wrong. I remove that white line here. It's the outline of my cinnamon here. Here below it's more dark. This looks a bit strange. I make it darker here at the bottom. And then let's also draw in here with a brown these evergreen branches. Let's bring in here one from the right, and maybe another one here a bit more in the background. Here we have already one on the left side. Let's also add here one and go in with a dark green then, and add strokes, so slanted downwards, rightwards. And here a bit behind the marshmallow, and with a middle green. So take another green that's a little bit lighter. I add here another layer. So, and also here some, and in the back, they can be here a bit blurry too. Behind the berries, let's also add here with let's take an ivory here and add some highlights, so a bit over the green into the background here a bit. Behind, we could also go in here again with a dark green a little bit between here. And here I blend over carefully with a cotton swab and make that a little bit blurry, that it is more far away or just a little bit blurry, so in the background. And let's also add then with a mint, some mint highlights on that branch here. And with white, some white highlights, brilliant highlight strokes then here on top. Just by adding different colors, you can bring in here a kind of depth. It's not so realistic, but also looks nice. Okay, and then here in front of our chocolate mug, let's bring in, I plot in a little bit of an ochre color, let's say here in front, as a little bit of like a table or so, a bit wood, where our mug is placed. Plot in here a little bit of an ochre. It's a brown ochre, burnt ochre. So a nice color here. We could also bring in a little bit of an orange, brown. This is the burnt ochre. Raw amber we have used first, or burnt brown ochre and now burnt ochre. It's a bit going into terracotta colors. plot that in here. We could also add another ochre or a bit brown. Let's go in with a dark brown a little bit here, so around the edges or here near our mark. Bring in a little bit brown and let it here. Mix it with the black in the shadow. Plotting a little bit brown. Yes, and we could also add, let's say so, a little bit white here, like dots. Either you do that with the white pencil, or you take a very soft stick and go here in, so let's say faster, and plot. It looks like a bit like snow or sugar then, that you to put in, so it breaks then, and you have so broken pastel pigment then on it here. And then go over with the finger gently, and then you break that even more. Go over carefully with the finger and create so a bit of a snowy look here. That's an easy way, maybe a bit upwards here. It looks a bit like so snowy dust or like sugar dust. Then blow away the loose pigment, and voila, you have a nice created a snow area here, or like you would have put sugar on it. You could also go in with a pencil if you would like to add here and there more darker dots. If sometimes you have here too much pigment on it, you could blow it away a bit or make it a bit finer with the pencil. With the brown here in that case. Okay, you could add here, or you could also take the black and add some little black little dots here between a bit. Make it a bit finer if you would like, invest a bit more time. But this is really a fast way to create so a bit of a dotty look when you would like to create here so a nice snowy look. You can for sure also draw some little dots with the pencil here and there. Bringing here and there some little dots on it here. Refine your drawing a bit, then finally go over edges of the marshmallows. Maybe make them here also a bit rounder, not so straight. Add here and there some details. Refine these little flowers. Maybe add here also a bit more of this whipped cream here along the edge. Just play a little bit with your drawing, then add here and there some details, maybe here some fine little strokes. This edge could also be brightened up a little bit more. Here we can add a bit shadow where we have this little ribbon here. I go over with the black a little bit here, bring in a bit of shadow here. Let's add also some black lines on the right, so you can work on it and make it also more and more realistic, or add some more details. Let's add a bit shadow here below and bring in some more black stripes upwards here near the mushrooms. It can near the marshmallows. These are not mushrooms. Near the marshmallows, bring in here a bit black, or below the little pine cone here. Add a bit shadow. Okay, increase the contrast a bit. And then I will also add here in the back, either you let it like it is or make again so little white dots here like snowflakes in the back. Like this one. Push the pigment a little bit into the paper. How you would like it, or add some little dots with the pencil. So you can also leave that, but I like it to make it here so a little bit magical. And maybe add some little stars. So some simple stars here and there. They can also be a bit transparent. Some of these little dots can also be a bit larger. Okay, I think it looks nice so far. Let's brighten up this little snow on top here a bit. It looks nice. So I will then also sign it, and we'll say this little drawing of this hot chocolate cup with whipped cream is finished. Enjoy drawing. I hope you have enjoyed it, and you could also use that for Christmas cards or little tags on your presents. Print it and make tags out of it, or just draw it to have fun. Okay, so I hope you could create these fun cups of hot chocolate and you enjoyed it. You can use it for Christmas cards, greeting cards, gift tags, or just for fun. Here you find another video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell that you're notified. And here you can join the waitlist to my membership Animal Art Club. And then I hope I see you tomorrow in the next Advent calendar video. Have a great time. Bye bye.